guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today I will be reviewing Collision Course, which is a film from Bolanle Austen-Peters. If you've seen Bling Lagosians, 93 Days, The Man of God, then you know who Bolanle Austen-Peters is. And Collision Course stars Daniel Etimefeong, Kelechi Udebe, Adelaoye, Nobe Young, and it also stars Bamike Adenibuyan. I hope I'm pronouncing her name correctly. Forgive me if I'm not. And Collision Course, it's told in the space of 24 hours. The story, it follows Mide and Corporal Magnus. Mide is played by Daniel Etimefeong. He plays an upcoming artist, while Magnus is a police officer, a struggling police officer. And both of them, they are separate people, obviously, but their lives come together and are kind of intertwined on this night. And it focuses on police brutality and how it affects the victim, and also looking at it through the eyes of the oppressor, which is the police officer. So let's get into it. First of all, the first time I saw Collision Course, I was like, okay, this is looking, this is not looking bad at all. It's not looking bad. But I will start with the acting. The acting from Daniel Etimefeong and especially Kelechi Udebe were amazing, and also Bam Bam. Those three people especially, they did really well. Their acting, I'll give it 10 over 10. I love their acting. I didn't have any doubts, especially about Daniel Etimefeong and Kelechi Udebe, but I don't think I've ever seen Bam Bam in a movie before, so this was a really wonderful surprise. She did amazing. And then I loved how they used the music to kind of tell the story of, you know, how it is in Lagos and how people struggle and all of that. It was good. But this movie, it had, like, I think I had high expectations with the way they were going to focus on police brutality, and everybody knows how much police brutality is terrible in Nigeria. It's a big thing, especially after the NSAS protests in 2020. It was like a life-changing experience for a lot of people. So when you see a movie that says you're going to focus on this plot line and this event, you're expecting that they do justice to it. I would say that this movie did not particularly do enough justice for me, because first of all, the movie started with if you've not seen this movie, please stop here, because I'm going to probably put in a lot of spoilers. So if you've not seen it, please go back and see it, or except you don't mind spoilers, but go back and see it, then you can come back to this into this review. But there are going to be spoilers from this moment. Spoiler alert. So the movie starts with Mide it starts in a very chaotic way that would probably give a lot of people PTSD if they've ever had like a personal encounter with the people that are known for police brutality in Nigeria. So it starts with this group of thugs. I won't call them police officers because they are basically thugs. They pick Mide up and they are beating him, and they take him to this building where there's like other people there. They're beating them, there's blood. It's just a very uncomfortable sight to watch, because you know that when you think about the fact that a lot of people go through this every day, it's very heartbreaking and very scary when you think about it, because a lot of families have lost their loved ones through this. So watching that scene was like, oh my god, this is terrible. So in this scene, they are beating these people and extorting them, telling them to send money and all of that, and they're doing exactly the same thing to me. And they shoot these other people right in front of him, and they're dumped in a river or something. But somehow they did not shoot him. I don't know if he gave them some money, or I don't know, but we were not particularly shown that scene. We only see where he's dropped off with a bloody shirt, and he's just dropped off on the side of the road. So 3 weeks later, it looks like Mide is having to, oh, he's trying to get over that experience, but in my opinion, we're not particularly getting, I don't know how to put it. Okay, I'll say we're not seeing how he's really struggling with that event, because that was a very scary, life-changing event that he could have died, but we're just seeing him sweating and having flashbacks of the event, but we're not really seeing how he's dealing with it, which could have been a good way to look at it, because people struggle a lot when it comes to like events like this. When this when something like this happens to someone, the aftermath, what is the aftermath of this event? We don't see that with Mide. He's just in a car, and we're seeing like he's having hot flashes of the incident, and sweating and all of that, but I'm not really getting that struggle of how he felt. Like, I wish we got more of that. That was already like a struggle for me. And then what they're trying to do, in my opinion, is they're trying to give us both sides of the story. They're telling us the story from the perspective of the police officer, and then giving us the perspective of the victim, which is Mide in this situation. Which it didn't really sit well with me. I get what they were doing. It's just a lot of ways to look at the story, but I wish they just stood on like one instead of being on the fence, like pick one side of the fence and say, okay, this is the villain, this is the victim, instead of making us to, like, in my head I'm like, okay, so should I feel bad for the police officer? Because they kept talking about how I totally understand this, because they're trying to make us to look at the situation and be like, oh, okay, we know police officers, they are struggling too, the government is bad. Yes, we understand the government is horrible and is corrupt, and they really don't care about any of us, but at the end of the day, the police officer has a higher hand than the regular civilians, because they're carrying a gun, they're holding a gun. Anyone that's holding a gun has way more power than just a regular person that's just going about their day. Like, you could take a life if you choose to. So they gave us this story of how Corporal Magnus is poor, he's struggling, he hasn't even paid his wife's bride price, his children, they're eating water and gari, there's no food, no money, nothing. He's a good man, but he's struggling, he doesn't have money, and he's thinking of joining this group of people in the I don't know if it's a robbery unit or whatever they call it, but they called it TARZ, TARZ. And these people, they are extorting people and murdering people, killing people, and all sorts of things. So he's considering joining them, because obviously he needs money, he needs to pay his children's school fees, he needs to take care of his family and leave the horrible place he's staying. But at the same time, it's like, it was just a bit difficult to understand the situation or understand where they were coming from, even though they were trying so hard to make us see it from both points of view. But I feel like if you're making a movie like this, you need to give us what we want, like tell it the way a lot of people would have wanted it to be told, in my opinion. Like, at the end of the day, the civilians, they're the victims, and the police officers are the oppressors. That is just my belief, and I'll stand strongly on that, even though I know that police officers still suffer and they go through a lot of things just like us regular people. But at the end of the day, if you have a gun, you have a choice to use it or not to use it. So it was just something that I was not happy with. I wish they gave us that plot where we are seeing the police officer as the actual oppressor and aggressor, because in my opinion that's what a lot of them are, and then looking at the victim and saying, okay, he did not deserve to go through that. But it was just a weird way of looking at it. And then Mide is an upcoming artist, and honestly that plot was just, or I don't know, it just felt very funny to me because he's an upcoming artist and he's rapping these songs that are just absolutely horrible in Q locks. And then he has this wig. When I first saw that wig, I'm like, did he grow his hair in 3 weeks, or is something going on here? And then when he took it off, I'm like, wait, so it's actually a wig. That was just too funny because I did not understand what they were doing with that, or what they were trying to do, or the point, because why did that have to happen? I just felt like that was unnecessary. And when we go back to the police officer and how he's struggling to make ends meet, at the end of the day, he comes in contact with Mide while Mide is on his way back from performing at a club, and he's obviously, according to how they put it, he's sad, he's angry, his wife is leaving him, so he's just pissed at everything that's happening to him. So he doesn't care about the consequences at this point, because like, bear in mind, Magnus is supposed to be a good man, but at this point, because his wife is leaving him, or his wife has left him, he's angry and he doesn't care whatever is going to happen. He's going to get that money by force. And when he comes in contact with Mide on this fateful night, Mide was not having any of it, because he had gone through this 3 weeks ago, so he was not interested in going through that again. But in my opinion, I feel like in real life, actual real life, if you've come in contact with police before and you have a pregnant wife in your car, 3 weeks, or your pregnant fiance or girlfriend, 3 weeks earlier you just had a near-death experience with the police, and now you're coming in contact with another police, wouldn't you feel like, my girlfriend is here, she's with her friend, she's pregnant, shouldn't I just give them the money so they can just go, or so they can just let me go? Or am I not thinking this? am I overthinking this? Well, in reality, that's what would have happened. But in collision course, Mide refuses to give the police officer anything, and then he tells his girlfriend to go. Who does that? Who does that? Who does that? Because why would you do that? It's midnight or almost midnight. You are on the road. There's a police officer with a gun. Your girlfriend is there and you're telling her to leave you there. I don't understand. That did not sit well with me, if I'm being very honest. I was like, okay, why would you tell her to go? She's meant to be there with you. You guys, I mean, in real life, you guys will beg these people, give them whatever you have, and so you guys can go. So I was just like, that was just a flaw for me, because it did not look realistic at all. Because I don't know where that's going to happen, that a man is stopped by the police and then he's in the car with his girlfriend that is heavily pregnant, and he tells her to leave. He refuses to give the police money, and he wants to stand there and fight with them. I don't know where this is going to, I don't know what reality that's going to happen. I don't think it's the same Nigeria we're talking about. I don't think so. Even though I know that there are people that can be very stubborn, but I don't think in that situation we are like, I'm not going to put my girlfriend in harm's way. Anything can happen. These people can just start shooting. I shoot her. My baby dies. She dies. I die. Like, anything can happen. So I rather just give these people what I need to give them, especially considering the fact that I just had a close near-death experience with them 3 weeks earlier. I'd rather just give them whatever I have on me, so I can leave and be free. But he refused to give them any money, which made Corporal Magnus, very angry and irritated. And then he gets into the car with me. They're telling him that he must give him this money tonight. And they're driving. He tells him to keep driving. And they're driving and they keep talking about different things, and then Magnus is complaining and getting sad and emotional, and he starts crying about the fact that his wife is leaving him and he doesn't have money, he doesn't have this, doesn't have that. And then Mide starts becoming like, oh wow, sad about the situation. He's understanding his point of view. That whole scene, I don't know how I felt about it. It just felt a bit rushed. The final act felt very, very rushed. I feel like they should have taken their time. I wish they took their time to actually give us what we should have gotten from that scene, but it was just like, you're on the fence, you're on the fence. Where are you standing? You are making us to, should we be feel bad for the police officer who is in fact the aggressor, or should we feel bad for Mide, or like which one are we doing? Which one are we doing here? But you know, after that scene, they try to resolve the issue, and Magnus is like, you know what, let's just turn back, take me back to the checkpoint, and by mistake he shoots Mide. I don't know. That scene, it was shocking, honestly. I was like, okay, what is going on here? I did not expect that to happen. I thought we are going to probably have like a happy ending or something. I don't know what I was thinking, but I definitely did not think that was going to happen. In that scene, after watching, I was like, okay, what are we doing here? Why didn't you just get the police officer to actually, okay, he was a good guy, he's a good guy, but he's trying to make money. Okay, then let him be bad and actually on like intentionally shoot Mide, and then we're like, oh, this is what actually happens, this is reality. They shoot people on purpose, and then they make it look like a robbery scene and make it look like you are the bad person that they were chasing, all of that. But then it's like, are we supposed to be feeling bad for the actual aggressor? Because that was what I got from that entire scene. Magnus shoots Mide mistakenly, and then he's crying and doesn't know what to do. He calls these other people that he knows from the TAS unit to come and help him. We know that's what happens. They do these things in real life. They make up crime scenes and make it look like an innocent person is an armed robber or a thief or all sorts of things. But in that scene, I just wish they did not go that way. It was just, I don't know what to make of it. It was not really sitting well with me. Make him the bad guy and let him actually shoot this guy, and then we're like, oh god, this is horrible. This is what actually happens in real life and all of that. But then you made him shoot him by mistake, and we should be feeling bad for the police officer that is holding the gun, that has more power than the actual person that is a civilian and doesn't have any weapon. So it was just a very funny way to look at it. And at the end, they give us, like, they show us this scene of the actual NSAS protest, which kind of made me feel weird in my stomach, because I know exactly where I was when this protest was happening. I'm sure a lot of people can relate also, because there was just so much going on in Nigeria at this time, especially like in specific parts of Nigeria. It was one of the most horrible things I've ever experienced in my life, and I would literally never forget that experience. It was horrible. And then you using the actual footage, even though it was just like maybe like a minute or two, the actual footage of the protest, it made my stomach turn. I did not really like that, because I feel like if you want to do justice to this kind of film and actually use this footage, then do what you need to do. Don't sit on the fence and make us to look at the aggressor like he's a good person, even if he's actually a good person, but he is in reality the oppressor, and he's the one with the gun. He has more power. So you're making a movie that focuses on this life-changing period in a lot of Nigerians' lives, and then you use the actual footage and you are not doing enough justice to the movie, in my opinion. So I was not happy with the fact that they used the actual footage. I wish they didn't. It just made me feel no, I didn't like that. So there was just a it was a good movie. It was a good movie, but there's just things here and there that I wish they could have worked on, especially when dealing with this topic in particular, this police brutality in Nigeria and how it's affected a lot of people. I wish they would have put in just a little bit of more effort with the story, not even with the acting or the cinematography or the music. I felt like those were good. Those were actually good. Like, I liked the music, I liked how it looked visually, I loved the acting from the actors. They did an amazing job. But the story itself, I wish it was better. I wish it was better. And I really love that Nigerian filmmakers these days, they are putting out movies about Nigeria and the Nigerian experience. We don't have to be seeing the exact same things that we see all the time. So I'm happy. I hope that more people are going to come out and put out more movies about what Nigerians are actually going through in Nigeria. Let's not wait for people in Hollywood to come and be making movies about our life and our history. So I like that this effort was made, but I wish it was better. I wish it was better. But I would still recommend Collision Course. I would probably give it, not probably, I would give it a 6/10, just because I wish the story was better. I wish it was more, like, just give us more. It wasn't doing that for me. But it was a good movie, and I would recommend you see it if you can. It's showing on Netflix right now, and I think it's one of the top movies on Netflix right now because a lot of people are watching it. So you should definitely see Collision Course when you can. And yeah, I hope you enjoyed this video. I enjoyed doing this review. This is my first Nollywood review on YouTube, so I hope I'll do more of this going forward. So thank you so much for watching. I will see you in my next video. Bye.